Oh my god, it's Video Games. We are back again to talk about video games, and today we got a stack of games over here. Not too big of a stack, but we got some really interesting things to talk about with a lot of stories that will be told. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. First up is a little game you probably just heard me talk about here on the channel, and it is none other than Holy Umbrella for the Super Famicom. What a lovely little game this is. You know, in my review, I said that I did really enjoy it, but I have to be a little bit more critical and a little bit more level-headed there. This is a game I absolutely adored. Everything about it, flaws and all, a game I absolutely loved. It's kind of one of those where have you been all my life kind of games, as it really, really does feel like the type of Super Famicom game I would have found 15 years ago when I was in high school, looking through the Super Famicom library for the first time. Like, it really does kind of encapsulate that perfect, like, summer game for me. It really feels like something I would have found in the middle of the hot summer day and would have just played all the way through and absolutely adored it. And I'm actually really happy to say that even all these years later, I basically still had that same exact experience, and it really took me back to being in high school playing through a lot of these games I love on the channel. And I would say this is really up there with some of the bests on the channel, like Go Super Mikami or Melfin Stories. So it's really wonderful to know that even all these years later, there are still Super Famicom games in the library that will excite me as much as some of my all-time favorites. So Holy Umbrella itself, if you've not seen my review, I highly recommend you check it out. It's a fantastic review, one of my favorites I think I've done this year. But you play as a little boy on his way to school who gets stuck in a rainstorm and finds an umbrella, and when he picks it up, he gets transported to another world and goes on a massive adventure. And it's a great little mix of platformer and RPGs. You have like these little almost Zelda-like towns that you go through and talk to the different characters, and they're all really funny and well written and quirky. And then you have these pretty good platforming sections where you have these different characters that you can also switch between, and I just absolutely loved it. What a fantastic little game. And now, what I have here is not the super duper expensive actual boxed version of this game. This is actually a reproduction box that I personally made myself. Being such a big fan of this game and really wanted to own the box, I was like, well, I'm not going to pay the $800 to $1,000 to get this game complete in box. I'm going to get a translated repro, which is inside, and I'm going to take all of the available art sources online for this, and I'm going to take a box template and put it all together, and that's what we have here. And shout out to Hack to the Future on Etsy, who does wonderful reproductions of Super Famicom boxes and other video game boxes as well. He allows me to send him, stuff, and he'll make custom boxes. So yeah, I took the art resources I could find online. Some of them I had to upscale, others were in perfectly great quality, but made this for myself and anybody who's maybe like a collector and is worried about stuff. I did put reproduction on the back there. At least it has reproduction on there. Nobody can pass it off as the original thing. But that's going to do it for Holy Umbrella. I absolutely love this little game. Next up is another game with a story. But it is called Gekio Shooting King for the PlayStation 1. Now, I believe outside of the US, this is known as Shienryu, and it's by Natsume, so you already know it's an amazing shooter, but it's a pretty great shoot 'em up. Kind of standard, but really great spectacle, awesome levels, fantastic music, really cool game. And the story behind this one is that's kind of been a white whale game for me, as it's a game I've been trying to find for years. And it all, ironically, starts with YouTube. So there's a guy named General Lots. He's been around on YouTube reviewing games for a long, long time. And he's still doing it, man. Bless the guy. Great reviews. Reviews a lot of PC games and such. At the time, he had a theme song that was the opening cinematic song to this game. And the song absolutely rips. Like, it's so fucking good. Like, stupid good. And I remember commenting and asking him, hey man, where's your intro song from? And he got back to me and was like, I can't remember where it's from at all. All I know is that it's from a shooter on the PlayStation 1. And I remember asking him a couple more times on his channel throughout the years, and he would just be like, yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember where it's from at all. So every couple of months over the last handful, or I would say probably once a year, over the last, 10, 15 years probably, I would just go online and start looking at PlayStation 1 shooters to see if I could try and find this song on one of the soundtracks. And I just was never able to find it until a few months ago. I was just sitting down to play a bunch of different PlayStation 1 games I have in my emulator. So I was going through, clicked on Gekio Shooting King, and I hear the music play, and I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Holy, I found it. I have found the game where the music is from, and it is only in this US version in the opening title portion. It's not a song in the game, it's just for the intro cinematic. I'm going to go ahead and let you all hear that song now. Yep, there it is. So after, like 10 plus years of trying to track down this song, I finally found it, and I immediately went to eBay to scoop this up, because not only is this an awesome game, but god damn if that song isn't amazing. I just had to have it, especially with a little story behind it. Gekio Shooting King. Check it out if you're a big fan of shoot 'em ups. This one's a lot of fun. Music is incredible. Natsume never misses with the music. Anyways, let's move on to, speaking of shoot 'em ups, this one's kind of a dual package here, and it kind of comes with a nice collector's edition, and that is of Steam Hearts and Advanced VG, and this is the Saturn Tribute version. Now, if you're not familiar with the Saturn Tribute series, it's a series of re-releases of Saturn games on modern consoles, and it's been really nice because a lot of these re-releases are of very expensive games, and these two are no exception. Advanced VG a little bit cheaper than most other very expensive Saturn games, but Steam Hearts, with its notoriety, which we'll talk about here in a second, is quite expensive. So yes, when I saw this was getting released, I was like, I have to pick this up, and I ended up picking up the big special edition version, which we'll get into here in just a moment, but I want to talk about the games a little bit first. First up, Advanced VG, which I think is like the second to last entry in the Variable Geo fighting game series. They're overall fairly good fighting games. This one, a little stiff, not the greatest. I think the Super Nintendo version, or the Super Nintendo game that predated this one, Super VG, and the PC Engine game that came before it, which I think is also just a version of Advanced VG, are both better games than the Saturn version. The Saturn version, though, does have much prettier, more hand-drawn anime graphics, which look fantastic, and it's got some extra animation and stuff in there, but it's kind of stiff. The other games play better. So then we have Steam Hearts, and Steam Hearts is probably best known for being an eroge, and if you're not familiar with that, it's kind of like a hentai shooter, but very standard shoot 'em up. Pretty fun. Some of the boss designs are really great. Hey, the music is fucking fantastic in this game. That's honestly the crowning achievement of Steam Hearts for me, is the music is really good. And then, you go through all these levels, and at the end of each level, you fight a boss, and then you have intercourse with that boss, which is not a joke. That's really something that happens in this game, and that's kind of its like notoriety. It's a kind of claim to fame, is that, hey, this thing's got like hentai scenes in it, but they're never very explicit. They're all censored. It's more ecchi than anything. But that's kind of what makes Steam Hearts so expensive. So I was really happy to pick this up and grab both of these games for cheap, even though I already own Advanced VG on the Saturn. But hey, I'm a sucker for a good art book, and because I absolutely love 80s and 90s anime. I love the art style, I love the drawing, and I'm very happy to say that the perfect box set here came with an art book. So, and it's got art for both games in here. Like, I love that it's got some of the temp art, character designs. It's awesome. And of course, they've got some of the actual cells and stuff in here. So it's really cool to have this. And like I said, I love some good hand-drawn 90s, 80s animation. So it's cool to see this. Here's some stuff for Advanced VG. I love the characters in Advanced VG because they're all based off like different restaurants and different restaurant types. And that's kind of like it's a Bishoujo fighter, so it's kind of fun to see the different character designs. Yes. And then, of course, we've got the box here, which looks fantastic. It's got some of the art on the back as well. It's glossy, so unfortunately you're going to get some glare on there. Inside of it, we also have... Sorry, it's not coming out of the thing. We also got the CD soundtrack, which is awesome because I said the music in both of these games is pretty good. And that's going to do it for the video games, but we're not done yet. We have a couple of magazines here. You know me, I love me some Japanese magazines. I got a Famitsu here from July 98. Hey, very cool to have. I love that he's just like drinking Coca-Cola on the front. On the back, Brave Fencer Musashi. So let's kind of go through and take a quick look at some of the stuff in here. I know there's a couple of channel relevant stuff, some channel relevant stuff in here, which is funny. Here we got an ad for the very first Diablo. That's pretty cool. For the PlayStation port. You know what? Here's something a game I've always wanted to talk about. Kase Monogatari, which was kind of like ASCII's version of Final Fantasy. I think it was their attempt to make a Final Fantasy VII. As a matter of fact, I've even got the game pulled out right here. Kase Monogatari. Yeah, it was definitely their attempt to do like a Final Fantasy killer. And I've always really wanted to play it, but there's no translation for it whatsoever. So I've never been able to. But it's always been a game that's fascinated me, and there's a whole story that comes along with me even coming across that game and finding out about it. Ooh, here's a good one for a game I've always wanted to talk about, Linda 3. And I think this is for the PlayStation and Saturn version of Linda 3 again. Weirdo RPG, which I've been thinking about covering on this channel here recently. Here it is. All right, look at this. We got an ad for Crisis City in here, which is super awesome since I just covered that towards the beginning of the year. Nice to see that. And of course, right next to it, we got Slayers. Gotta love some Slayers, one of my favorite animes. Very cool. Very cool stuff to see. And then the next magazine we've got is Sega Saturn Specific. These big, huge magazine for the Saturn. Not gonna have time to go all the way through this, but hey, look at this. Right here in the middle. Big old poster for Galaxy Fraulein Yuna, which is really cool. She has a handful of games that would be awesome to talk about. One in particular that I have been playing a lot recently. I've been itching to review, so look for that in some time near future, which probably means about at this point in August, probably next year, because most of the stuff has been finished for this year on the channel. There's stuff for Grandia. Gotta love Grandia. What an awesome little game. One that I really intend to play all the way through and beat one of these days. I've only ever really played the first couple hours of it, and I've always really enjoyed it, but I don't know why I've never stuck around. Here on the first page here, we got Dead or Alive, the Saturn version, which is notably slightly different from the PlayStation version. Huh. This has got to be a visual novel for Yuno, the girl who chants love. Is that what this thing just said to me? Yeah, you know. Ooh, here we go. Awesome game. Awesome franchise. One that I still need to talk about on the channel. Asuka 120%. One of the greatest fighting games people have never heard of. A fantastic fighting game. You know, Asuka 120% is everything that Advanced Variable Geo isn't. And that's not to knock Variable Geo, as some of those games are pretty good, but the Asuka 120% games are amazing. Here's some Sonic R. Super Sonic Racing. Gotta love some Sonic R. I do love that game. It's stupid and it's terrible, but man, that soundtrack is pretty great. Wow, a bunch of stuff for whatever this visual novel is. See, that's the thing, is you gotta love these magazines because you'll just come across just pictures and stills and art from games that you'll probably never play. Like, I'm never gonna play any of these visual novel games that are based around what presumably look like idols. But hey, you know what? I love to see the art. It's cool. Awesome Bomberman game that typically gets overshadowed on the Saturn. Bomberman Fight. which is the 3D Bomberman game for the Saturn, which is very, very similar to Bomberman 64, which is my personal favorite. So Bomberman Fight, pretty cool game. Ooh, here's some stuff for Panzer Dragoon Saga, or Panzer Dragoon Azel, as it's known in Japan. That's pretty cool to see as well. Ooh, alright. Well, we'll end it on this. I believe this is for Lunar Magic School, or Magical School Lunar, which is an awesome little side story in the Lunar games, which I've talked about on the channel. It's in my collection here. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. This video is going to be super long, but we've got a bunch of really awesome games here that I'm glad to have picked up that are now in my collection. Awesome stuff here. Got to talk about some games that I never thought I'd really get to talk about on the channel, like Kase Monogatari. Maybe that'll get an episode one day. And of course, we got some awesome Japanese magazines to end it all off. Thank you all for checking this out, and I will see you all in the next one. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this episode, consider checking out these other videos right here, or even subscribing. Also, if you'd like to throw me a couple of bucks, you can support the show on Patreon.